The biggest struggle for entrepreneurs and freelancers is never being able to take a vacation without feeling guilty about not working. Does that resonate with you? These difficulties in taking breaks can happen during your days or over several days when you're not working, and you think to yourself, no, I should probably be busy working instead of resting, or perhaps maybe doing nothing. Guilt about productivity or the need for productivity, such as the constant pressure to be productive? And even worse, if it's not by choice, like if you get sick or there are unexpected events, then it's even more intense. I should be working or at my best instead of being sick, and it just adds to the pressure. If that resonates with you today, currently I'm going to provide extensive assistance in breaking free from it and finally manage to rest without feeling guilty. Welcome, this is Johan Youngting, an entrepreneur since 2008, and this topic is very close to my heart. I'm like that too. I dislike idleness, I like being active, I like managing my business, and as entrepreneurs, we often have this tendency to stay busy, to think about the business, and not just say, I come home at night and switch off, I don't think about the business. But in practice, it's exhausting. There needs to be a balance, whether it's through family, also the couple, for one's well-being, managing to take breaks, having moments where we don't think about our business, moments where we don't feel guilty about not being productive. In fact, you will understand why we fall into this and how to stop it, how to find a way to rejuvenate yourself, because it is very important. Productivity isn't just about being constantly in action. It's also, and more importantly, about knowing how to recover, how to regenerate, and how to take breaks for both your creativity and your physical and mental health. Actually, I'm quite surprised at how much more time we spend with my clients celebrating the moments when they manage to take vacations rather than just their actual successes. For years, when my clients tell me, I managed to take a vacation without feeling guilty, I managed to rest, we celebrate, I congratulate them. Because yes, being able to take a break is an accomplishment. With the advice I'm going to give you, you'll actually be able to take more. By the way, I'd also like to tell you, if the topic of organizing all this interests you, I've created a brand new series of completely free training videos. You have the link below, which will help you take a step back on what today it drains your energy, wastes your time, and leaves you in chaos, and how to get structure to move forward, make progress without burning out. So gain a lot more time and clarity without sacrificing your freedom and, most importantly, your balance. Interested? You have the link below. You will get a series of 3 videos, and it will really help you a lot with the concept of structure, organization, and especially time management. So why do we have such a hard time taking breaks and going on vacation? And don't tell me, my business, I always have to be on top of things because if I stop working, my business stops. If today you stop working, your business stops. Like if you stop working in the evening and the business stops, then there's a problem. Here, you need to focus on strategy. I'll provide some resources, but this is not lasting. You will burn out. Change your model. No, I'm really talking about, it's the guilt. It's that you know very well that you could take a break, but you feel compelled to act. It's often closely related to fears. The fear that things will go wrong. The fear of missing out on something. The famous term fear of missing out. Missing a piece of information, missing an email, missing a prospecting call, missing the email. If you don't respond within 5 minutes, you're going to miss a huge opportunity and everything will fall apart. There is a notion of control, losing control of my business. When you're an entrepreneur, you want to control everything, be alone, be at your maximum. There is also this tendency to think that there is always something we are missing, an opportunity or information that we must not miss. And if we don't do it, if we think about it, there's always a problem to solve. But the big issue, as you'll understand shortly, is that sometimes we invent problems or add to them when it's not necessary. And in reality, the majority of real problems to solve, the best solutions, are not found by always being busy, trying to be productive. Control is often linked to a form of insecurity, the survival mode, the anxiety mode. I'm afraid of not anticipating problems that might arise, so there's this notion of letting go of control. Similarly, putting too much pressure, too many high-pressure goals, and doing too much on the to-do list, too many projects, and the model being too complex and heavy, at some point, one must also learn to slow down. But often I can tell you that the real cause is not necessarily structural, but it is often in a mistaken vision or a belief we have about what we need to do to maintain the activity or what we should do in relation to maintaining the activity. It's only when we realize that in practice, when we do less, when we slow down, when we manage to take a step back and rest, that's when we perform the best. Because the real consequences, if you keep burning yourself out like this, are that you'll actually become less productive, as you'll be exhausted, creating what we call bad stress, which means constant pressure, poor sleep, feeling like you never stop, always on the move. This also leads to a creativity problem, with your head down, always in a rush, under constant pressure, and never taking a step back. And that's the worst part, because in the end, it can lead to burnout. And I know some who ended up with burnout because of this. They can never take breaks, not even daily ones. They never recover. So we don't realize it, we get exhausted, we push ourselves, and then one day it snaps. And that's a true tragedy, a real consequence that can happen if we can't recognize the signs that it's time to reassess our pace. So, it would be interesting to change the perception of productivity. Productivity is not about doing more. Productivity is about using your time qualitatively to make progress on what matters. So, if today you just want to do more and just do, you're not being productive, you're just busy in essence. Essentially, you're actually just busy. And that's the subtle difference between being busy and being productive. You can have very busy days, but does it bring you closer to your goals? Is it constructive for what you need to do? Does it nourish you in terms of energy, in terms of meaning? Does it bring you closer to a vision? But really, are you clear on why you're doing all this and where you want to go? Because that's when you take a step back. Why am I exactly doing all this? What is the meaning of all this really? Because if there isn't a real purpose, it can also actually amplify the feeling of really intense fatigue. So I think we need to start by letting go of the guilt. You got that? Letting go of the guilt, especially by stopping to compare yourself to others. Because I know right now there's a big trend with ultra-productive people doing miracle morning routine, whatever, where people seem to be like machines. Of course, you see people's highlights, their best moments. People show their best moments, their best situations, their amazing routines. Even when I share content, I make a minimum effort to be at my best. It's logical. I'm not going to create content for you while being completely drained and exhausted. Even now, I've had a long day. I made this little video, but it's important to understand that what I show you will always be through a very positive lens. In reality, I rest a lot, I take breaks, and sometimes I just don't feel like doing anything. I allow myself to do nothing. I'll come back to this idea of allowing yourself to do nothing. Because in this hustle culture, where we're always told, yeah, you always have to do more, not waste too much time, be really productive. If you don't reach a certain revenue or level, etc., you're worthless. We really need to stop that. What is important to you? You must take the time to sit down, compare, and know what is truly important to me and change the narrative. Because I don't like to say I'm doing nothing. Sometimes I prefer to say, yes, I'm resting. Yes, I am indeed completely recovering. Yes, I am undoubtedly absolutely recharging. A side note for introverts, when we need our bubble after too many social interactions, what do? We recharge because our energy gets drained by too much social interaction and being around people. So when we are alone, we recharge. We're not just here to be antisocial or to do nothing socially in any way at all. No, we recharge because we take care of the most important person in the world, ourselves, and that's it. There's no point in wanting to be productive if you don't know how to take care of yourself. So what I want you to bother doing is to change your mindset. Stop feeling guilty about doing nothing or not being productive, and instead allow yourself to rest. Also, cultivate what we call useful procrastination. Unlike bad procrastination, where you keep putting off what you really need to do too many times, useful procrastination is when you know you actually have time in terms of deadlines, but you might need to rest. It's precisely not the right moment, in fact. Actually, if we're not in good energy now, I have a standard, I want to be at a certain level, but this is not the time. It happens to me, I do shoots, but it's not the right player, not. I set things up, but it's not the right player. Or I have to do a performance, but really, I wouldn't be able to perform at my best. If I can reschedule, I will. Because I want to play at my best level. So it's also a matter of standards. Similarly, for procrastination utility, it's also about creativity. Let things settle a bit, take a step back. Sometimes we want to go too fast, but there are times when it's good to take your time. Not waste your time, take your time. And that too, once again, the language. I don't waste my time, I take my time. I take the time to do things well. I take the time to mature ideas, things. I take the time it needs. Because often it's a matter of too tight deadlines. Sometimes we put pressure on ourselves, and sometimes it's the adjustment, the right amount of time to perfect without falling into the opposite where it's never finished. There is an end. Even come back more to the present moment. Stop being anxious about the future. Think about tomorrow. Think about everything you are going to do. If you are well organized, normally you are focused on the moment and you know that tomorrow will be taken care of. The following week will be managed. When poorly organized, we know we have a lot to do, but don't know when. We panic and think we won't have time. That's the worst approach. If that's your case, check out the videos below. So learn to prioritize first, because that's what organization is about. Reassessing your priorities and switching back to proactive mode. Get out of the habit of constantly reacting to emails, messages, notifications, and information. The more you take back control, taking back control of your time. Stop being reactive to external factors. A piece of information comes in, a call, someone asks for my attention, etc. Taking back control of your time and schedule is extremely important. Because, let me confess something to you. I tell all my clients this. I even say it in my programs and show you how to do it in my programs. Block out your rest and recovery times. Block out your leisure activities. Allow some leisure time. I'm tired of this thing. No distractions, but it's important. I need to go do my exercise, to play. Sometimes I need to have fun, to go see a good movie. Sometimes even a completely silly and goofy movie. It makes me feel good. Giving your brain a break is about balance. I love learning, I love working, but I need lightness. So it's really about stopping the constant pressure to always be at the top, to be productive, and remembering that we're not machines, we're human. But if we want to perform, it has to be at the same level of recovery. That means if your performance standards are high, your recovery should be at the same level. It's like athletes. Recovering is just as important as performing. That's why you need to have goals that are not only realistic, well-balanced and challenging, but not too much, that allow you to push yourself sometimes. Yes, that's important, but not too unrealistic and not too high that they put unbearable pressure on you and burn you out. Be kind to yourself. I am the first to be very demanding with myself, but I have also learned to give myself a break and be more compassionate towards myself. Sometimes I tell myself, I can't always be at my best. Yes, I need to recover. Yes, there are times when if I am sick, even though it's rare, if I am not feeling well, if I am tired, I allow myself, I accept, I embrace this state and see it as a sign to ride it out, nurture it, and therefore rest and recharge. Because I know that when I come back and care for myself, when I am kind to myself and recharge, that's when I return at my best. That's what I wanted to share with you. Change this narrative. Think about how important it is to recharge, regenerate, and recover. It's actually a crucial part of your performance and balance. And that's also how we last, how we hold on in the long run. So this can help you. As I mentioned, I've put some resources below, including a series of free training sessions to help you get back into the flow and escape this chaos, urgency, and exhaustion. And also, if you're definitely interested, I'll absolutely share more videos if the topic interests you. Don't forget to subscribe, YouTube, the podcast, the different networks. You have the info in the description, and I wish you lots of success. And most importantly, I remind you, it's very important, take care of yourself. You are the most important thing in your world. This was Joyo Hunting. See you soon.